Hello hikers, welcome to African Hiker. I'm Anita and this is Evadnee and we are the 9 Peaks ladies.
It's a good time to mention we just tried to bushwhack through a swamp.
No, we're like, hey, it will be better to film on that side of the lake. And
as usual, we don't follow paths.
Yeah, we're like, no, let's not take the path. Let's just go across this, let's go across the little stream. The stream was like uneventful.
It's an underlying theme in our hikes.
And then we ended up in the swamp. Show them your shoe. Okay, the camera.
Oh well.
Yeah.
It won't be the last time.
Anyway, so if you're wondering what the zigzags were on the trail when you were watching us, it's because of ideas like that. Like, hey, let's just go straight there. And then,
no, we're not very good at following tracks, are we?
No, not good at following tracks, not good at following directions, not good at following society
instructions.
Norms.
They're more like suggestions.
So this video is just a bit of a chit chat between me, Evadnee, you guys, so that you can know what it was like to do the 9 Peaks challenge and just some of our stories, good times. We nearly died, but we're here.
Can't leave that out, the near-death times.
So many times though. Life is boring now. It's like haven't nearly died in a week, That's really something. We're just going to go over the rules for 9 Peaks so that you can know exactly what it is, why we did what we did the way we did it. Evadnee will tell you because I said so.
I'm good with lists.
She likes lists. Okay,
like my ducks in rows. Well, when we started organizing to do 9 Peaks, we went onto the 9 Peaks website and we discovered a long list of rules. The first one being that we had to be completely self-governed, self-sustained, which seems to be another theme running through our lives. But we had to drive ourselves, feed ourselves, all logistics, navigation, etc. All selection of routes were all to be done on our own without any outside help. In the actual hike, there were certain start coordinates and summit coordinates. We couldn't just randomly.
You can't start anywhere. You can't drive all the way up to the top and then be like, okay, I start here, kind of vibe.
Yeah, there were lots of boxes to tick. Certain permits and licenses we had to comply with at certain venues.
Taking photos of all the evidence. Also, that's why our pictures have the GPS with us in it. It's not like we were just doing heavy Garmin promotions. That's part of the
selfies with our devices.
Yeah, that's part of the rules, so that you see the coordinates with us in the picture, and then we try to get the background as well.
Yes, so
that
an
wasn't
identifiable feature of the summit.
Exactly.
Obviously,
so that's why those were like that.
The 9 Peaks organizers are able to recognize, apart from needing the actual proof, that's another thing, you need to record your actual track. They can see that you followed that route, but they need proof that both of you were there, so that's why you need photographic evidence, and that's why we had so many summit selfies.
Summit selfies. Also, I just love summit selfies.
That's why you're smiling and I look so reluctant. So once you've completed 9 Peaks, you submit your evidence to a committee and they evaluate it and decide if you've ticked all the boxes. Obviously, we were quite careful to make sure we had ticked all the boxes because we didn't want to do this all and miss out on the title because we'd overlooked some.
Yeah, just imagine because of a technicality. No.
It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, so that's basically the rules of 9 Peaks. Actually, there's been a question on Facebook where someone asked what was our original schedule for the whole hike, because on the one post, I think it was my first post or the second one on Facebook, where I said it's day 2 and we arrived at the second peak and knew already from there that nope, this is not happening as we had planned.
Crazy 5-day and 20-hour schedule.
Yeah,
which involved no time for stopping for anything, basically.
Yeah, no time. There was our schedule was crazy. We didn't include time for sleeping, so we were moving pretty much the whole time. However, that was made with more people in mind, so we could, like, you know,
Yes,
everybody's driving 2 hours, you can squeeze in a decent amount of sleep. But when she's driving for 2 hours, like the first hour you, like, you know, texting, or like in my case uploading onto Facebook or whatever, you know, and then you have like an hour to sleep, and by the time you fall asleep it's time to wake up and it's your turn to drive. Like, didn't really work.
So that's how we did it. We did 2-hour driving rotations until we both decided we were just too tired to continue safely, and then we slept. Phone ahead and try and find some accommodation. We were quite lucky.
We were always very lucky. However, this is my method this is my method of traveling the whole time. This is also how I did Namibia, where you don't book anything. You just hit the road, you go, you're approaching a town, you phone different accommodations. If there's space for you, they have space for you. If they don't, call the next place.
It worked out well. I mean, we arrived at really strange times, 1 in the morning, and there was always someone willing to stay up for us, let us in.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks to Underberg and Middelburg and
I like those towns.
Drakensberg.
Yeah, so back to the schedule. When we first started planning, we had actually had like an 8 to 10 day schedule in mind.
Yes.
And then
it was based on the previous women's team that had tried.
Yeah.
When I first spoke to Quibus, the Nine Peaks organizer, he said that there'd been 2 female teams that had attempted. The one never finished because they were disqualified, but the other team had done it in 8 days. So we were looking at like 7 to 8 days as a respectable time to do it in.
The ones who did it in 8 days, they were also disqualified. That's why we first.
Due to navigational issues.
Yeah, and the other team got hurt, so it's not like they were disqualified. Like they got hurt.
We just got overly ambitious as the time went on. We were like, no, now we need to not only do it successfully, we also need to set some breakneck speed, which we were just unrealistic in our schedule.
Yeah.
As soon as we were actually on Nine Peaks, we realized that
the mountain will decide.
Yes, we had some very unexpected things occurring
that no one could have predicted or anything like that. It was just like, okay, this is happening now. Sometimes you're driving on the road and there's like a gazillion trucks. What you gonna do? Now things take longer.
Stop and go roadworks.
Oh yes, I slept through that.
You did. We had livestock and all kinds of issues.
Yeah. So lots of just
And what are some of the things we experienced that were unexpected? When we did Poduma, you had altitude sickness, which was very unexpected.
Namahadi.
Yes.
Yeah, that was weird. And I don't think it was altitude sickness. I call it mountain sickness. Because altitude sounds really serious. I feel like I wouldn't have died. I was just like sluggish, and you take 10 steps and then you're like, whew, gotta like breathe. Yeah. So that was weird. And again, unforeseen. Who would have known? Like, I climbed Kili without any like physical effects. Originally, depending on when originally is, it was 8 to 10 days based on the other female team, and then it was all the way down to 5 days, and what we ended up doing was 8.
Yeah, I think the size of the team has an impact on that, because being only 2, it's different to teams that are 3 or 4 where, like Anita said, you can take turns driving and
sleeping. And all
so
this.
I mean, sleep is a major thing. I think we went a total of about 3 days with no sleep at all.
Yeah.
And it catches up with you.
Yeah.
You mentioned you're narcoleptic and fall asleep.
Oh, yeah.
While driving.
Yeah.
Anyone who takes massages.
Probably also anyone who does this challenge without me will have an advantage, because I just fall asleep all the time. It's like I drive for more than an hour, I'm like sleepy. It's like, okay, time to nap. I like
even able to sleep on Mafadi when we were frozen.
Sleep. I like sleep.
What sleep skills?
The other post on Facebook, the most popular one was the one Mafadi, this peak number 6, where we ended up having to sleep on the mountain. So let's talk about that. I'm sure many of you have questions. Many of you are like, WTF? We also like WTF. Like, how is this our lives?
So I suppose the story starts with the route we chose, which is every team that's ever done Nine Peaks chooses a certain route, and we decided to try a different route.
just one thing I want to add here, and I thought this when I was on the mountain. Sometimes there is a reason why no one else is doing what you are thinking to do. Like, there are reasons, and we learned those reasons.
But we couldn't think of any beforehand. We were like, obviously we're geniuses. No one has ever thought of doing this, and we're gonna maybe knock this out the park.
The worst part was that I even got like advice from someone who I really trust, and she was like, "No, that's not a good idea. That's very long." And then, but when
came
you
back to bite us,
it did, because it is very, very long.
Easier, but longer.
Yeah, it's an easier climb up the pass, but it's like long on the escarpment.
Distance, yeah.
And it's not even like, oh, you did 20 Ks instead of 10 Ks. Like, the numbers are still compatible. Like, on the map, when you're looking at the trail and planning it, it all looks the
good on
same.
paper.
Yeah, on paper it looks good. In reality, don't do it. Just don't do it. Just say no.
Yeah, so on all the other hikes, we were familiar with the route. We tried the routes. Evadnee, it was just a wild card selection of a route that we hadn't tried before.
Yeah, we had issues.
Yeah, so our idea was to hike up to Bannerman's hut, sleep there, leave our stuff there, and then summit Evadnee, and then come back to the hut. And it was 24 Ks. It looked very doable in a day. We looked at the elevation. Everything looked good. The pass wasn't too bad going up. On the top, we spent probably more time than we should have trying to find a route with less elevation. We did a lot of contouring and meandering.
Yeah, but this is what happens when you have to just, find your own way.
That's
you
part
learn.
of the challenge.
Yeah.
There's no trail up there. You're basically out in the wilderness with your coordinates, and you've got to use your best judgment to get, to another pass and try and find the best route. When we summited, it was about 2-3 o'clock, Anita?
Yeah.
So we then found it's always when you're on top of the mountain looking down, it's always so much easier to see the best route down.
Yeah, you've got the vantage points of being higher.
So you can clearly see the roots below you.
The lay of the land.
Yeah. So
coming down was like nice, it was good.
But by the time we got about 2/3 of the way, we hit darkness.
Oh, gosh.
And the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, so, like,
By then, the gale force winds that had been predicted on the weather had started. We then had winds of about 40-50 knots.
Yeah, and at that point, the only thing that was motivating us was that we have to get down to the hut and everything will be fine when we're at the hut.
Because it wasn't think about the pass, we just thought we need to get off the mountain and get out of the wind.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that late at this point. It was just, after sunset, and it just gets dark like this. And so now we're hiking and we find ourselves like on a cliff. It's just like, oh, now this is the end of the mountain. And we like trying to figure out where we went wrong. Like, why is there suddenly a cliff? We're looking at our track, but this is where we were earlier. And that's the other thing. When you're going up and you're hiking up and it's daylight, you can easily like just scramble up this road, like this.
Yeah, you're taking strange routes to get around outcrops and rocks.
Exactly.
And
so then you don't really click that this is a cliff, because it's not an issue when you're going up, but coming down and in the dark, and then you can't see
but luckily,
what's going on.
Besides the headlights, we had a torch, like a very powerful torch, so we were able to go to the edge of this ledge and actually look down and see that about 50 meters below there was actually more mountain.
So like we kind of just like double backed and
we
figured out a way to
it's pitch dark and the wind's howling. So we had to double back step by step on the GPS to where we'd gone wrong, and then
it wasn't even like gone wrong. Like you're saying gone wrong, but it wasn't. We had literally come up on that cliff.
Yes.
So it's not. It's just you can do things in daytime when you're going up, but at night you can't.
Yeah, night hiking is quite tricky, hey?
It is.
It's not easy because you can't see, so you're so reliant on your GPS, and that slows you down like so badly. Because step by step you've got to see, are you still on track?
Are you still on track? Yeah. So then So once we're off this cliff, we're feeling like motivated, I'm just like I'm like going, I'm like, okay.
And
then I'm like going. Yeah, and it's
So
like
we were-
flattening out. We're on the
So we're
escarpment.
picking up some speed.
Going. Then I like turn around and Evadnee's not there. I'm like, where's this chick? And I'm just like waiting because I'm like, oh, she'll just pop up now. And then I also realized that I had gone downhill, so she actually couldn't see me anymore because now,
Yeah, you over a rise.
yeah, I was like, oh crap. And then I start going back to go try like find her because I'm just like, oh damn it, can't lose a human being. She's 50% of the team, only allowed to lose 10. But anyway, we found ourselves, she was just like a little bit lower on a lower ledge, so that was like a very scary moment, but also resolved very quickly. And then we were together and off we went, and we get to the pass. Oh, we encountered some cows that were sleeping.
Oh gosh, enormous cows.
It was so funny. It's like, if Annie was like, there are lights over there, and I'm like, no.
Yeah,
and then
I thought we were on the edge of the escarpment and those were the lights of like Giant's Castle.
yeah, and I'm like, no, turn off your torch, like turn off your light. And she turns it off and it's like nothing.
Darkness.
And then turns it on again and it's like huge cows. Oh gosh. Anyway, then from the cows we go and we're now at like Bannerman's on top of the pass.
Where the cairn is.
Yeah, where the cairn is. But you can't see any of this. You like look and it's pitch black. Like I've never seen a black so black in my life, like ever. It was the blackest black, and this wind is coming like, and I'm just like, yeah, no, we're not going down there. Like it was too dark, too windy, too
Yeah, we
like.
hadn't really been. You're so focused on just getting to the pass that you hadn't really contemplated.
It wasn't even, yeah, it wasn't even like get to the pass. It was like get to the hut. We weren't thinking about the pass. At least for me, I was just like, the goal was to get to the hut so that we can like get in our sleeping bags and sleep, and we've like completed the day. And then this huge obstacle suddenly, like Bannerman's Pass, like, whew,
And the winds were hectic. Eh?
they were so hectic.
Insane winds. There are a very short section of Bannerman's which is kind of climbing down a lot of rocks, and also because of the heavy rain we've been having, the pass is kind of like a river or a waterfall. So now you've got wet, slippery, dark ledges. It didn't seem worth the risk.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so we decide, okay, cool, we're not going down. It's like, okay, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna get hypothermia.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we
And
were.
I threatened you with mountain search and rescue.
Yes, she was like, I'm gonna call mountain search and rescue. I was like, there is no way. Like, honestly, I was just like, I'm gonna risk freezing to death on this mountain before I call mountain search and rescue.
Well, we felt an idiot to phone them, and you were just at the top of Bannerman's.
Yeah, and honestly,
The shame.
the shame, yeah. And actually, who would have come? They would have come the next day. We would have had to stay on top anyway. And it would be so embarrassing. Imagine to have to get
If
rescued.
you want to phone them, you need broken limbs, otherwise.
Yeah, it would have been too embarrassing.
Just suck it up and deal with your.
If you had called mountain search and rescue, I would leave the country. I would not be able to deal with the shame. I'll go start a new life somewhere else. None of this hiking
We'd have to
business.
change sports. We wouldn't have to hike anymore. We'd have to become like trail runners
You become trail runners.
or mountain bikers or something.
Okay, I'm just gonna focus full time on like beekeeping. I'll be African beekeeper.
Have to get new names, fake
New
identities.
names, yeah. New names, new country, new everything. Like, obviously, if it was a real emergency situation, I would call them because that's what they're there for.
Yes.
But to call them for something where, you know, I at no point thought we would freeze that night. So it was like, no, this is like a waste of time. We don't need to waste their time. We don't need to like waste our time. We can just like find some reeds and
Note to
sleep.
viewers, don't phone them unless it's a real emergency.
Yeah. So then now we've decided, okay, we're gonna stay on top of the mountain. We need to find shelter, right? That's the first thing. Get out of the wind. The wind was like contributing so much to the coldness factor. Oh, and we were wearing all our rain gear. We were wearing all our clothes, and rain pants and a rain jacket helped so much with keeping the wind off of us. Yeah. So we headed back down towards the river. There's like a little river there, and past our friendly cows.
We decided a good way to pass the night would be scouting for a perfect shelter.
Yes.
And man, did we look at reeds, eh?
Oh, we looked at all the reeds. It was like buying a house.
No, this one's too slow to do, this one's too wet, this one's too sparse, this one's too low.
This is too small. It's like, I would like something, you know, it's like, I'd like a double story reed.
Reeds with a view.
Reeds with a view. One that
reeds
doesn't
in a good
have
like... reeds with running water.
Yeah, and then we found some good reeds. Oh, we did. We found some, like a bunch of reeds, and then we decided to leave those ones. And then after,
sticking out.
No, not those.
And there was too much wind. We were too high.
No, not. Well, there was those ones. Those ones we found by accident. Those were the first reeds, and it was kind of like we had stopped there. And I'm one of these people who always sit down when I stop. So I was like, oh, where am I gonna sit? And the reeds were like there, and there was a little rock, and then I like sat there, and that's how we like realized like, hey, you know, let's just like nestle inside the reeds, because this is quite effective at blocking the wind. Yeah, so that's how it started. So we moved into those reeds, and we're like trying to make ourselves cozy, but those weren't the reeds for us. So then that's when we went like looking for our dream reeds as like a happy a happy couple. Yeah, a happy couple, you know.
That's
that was like a bachelor pad.
Very, very good friends.
Very, very.
It's when we went house hunting.
Brings you together.
Yeah.
Speaking of like house hunting, so let me just take you to Goduma quickly, and now we have to find a place to pitch a tent. Oh, you do not. Like, she's a fussy picker. I'm like,
she's got
here.
No perception of what flat ground is.
I'm like, let's pitch here. She's like, no.
Next time we're bringing a spirit level with. Because,
we looked for like, how many hours? I'm sure like more than an hour for like ground that was flat enough for Evadnee. But anyway, back to Mafadi.
Oh, we never found the optimal reeds. I'm still on the lookout for the perfect reeds.
If you're in the Drakensberg and you see some good reeds, please send us, like, just pin the location. Yeah.
You never know when you're going to need them.
You never know. But ours were quite nice that we ended up finding. It wasn't a double story. It was damp. At least it wasn't wet, it was damp. Other places had wet. So,
but that's a surprising thing about the top of the Drakensberg. You'd think it's the top of the mountain would be dry, but no, it's marshy out there.
There's so much
water.
Yeah, could be because of this rainy season we've been having. Anyway, we found the perfect reeds, and then we used our backpacks as like mattresses and insulation that we put on the ground, and to stop us, like, keep us off the damp ground. And then we had a space blanket from the first aid kit, and it's like such a simple, basic space blanket, you know. Not even the good quality one. It's the one that comes, you know, with your first aid kit.
To it. With a space blanket, you don't just throw it over yourself. It has to be tucked.
It has to be.
So here you're trying to tuck two people into a tiny
one space blanket. Yeah. I mean, it worked. We're very close. Closer now than before.
And once we tucked it, neither of us could move.
So we just,
a couple of hours, we just lay there
like this,
motionless.
And we could only make these types of movements. Yeah. You're either down or you're up. Like that.
Don't move your feet, don't move your legs.
Yeah, and Evadnee would sleep like this sometimes.
Yeah, I would sit up and look at my watch, try and calculate how many hours we left before we could go down.
Yeah, I pretty much slept. I would wake up occasionally to make sure she was still alive, you know. Promise is a promise. So, yeah, all is good.
Yeah, we didn't have many snacks left at that point. No, just some hiking bars and nuts.
Yeah, so if you guys ever find yourself in a cold situation, just remember, like, seek shelter, eat something, because when you're eating, your body like produces like warmth, and something to like insulate yourself. You know, you want to retain
weeds or grass.
Yeah, you want to retain the heat. You don't want to just let it all go. Yeah, have a first aid kit with a space blanket in it. That helps a lot. Like, the warmth you
Yeah.
get from that thin little thing, unbelievable. So then we slept in the reeds, and that was actually a really nice night. In the morning, after the night, it was really nice. Not during, and not while on the mountain. Actually, even while on the mountain, the morning was quite special. I enjoyed it. Watching the sunrise from the reeds. It was pretty. It was, and it felt so like
Normal.
Like it was just like, this is, it didn't feel unnatural. Like it didn't feel strange.
Panicked or stressed or...
Yeah, it was just like,
This is what's
okay, now
happening,
it's
and-
morning, and then now we go down the pass, and you know, it was, life goes on.
So we finally got down to Giant's Castle. Sure. And we got a hot meal.
Ooh, yes.
Oh my word.
Oh, I bought these glasses there because I lost my sunglasses on the top of Bannerman's Pass. They're red. If you see them, I'm quite fond of them.
Zero water.
Yeah, it's like,
I think the wind blew them straight off your head.
yeah, that's probably what happened. Like, my sunglasses are gone. You see, the thing is, they match my bicycle. They're my cycling sunglasses. Anyway.
Yeah, nearly started crying when the food came. Yeah, I don't think you can actually explain how hungry you get, how many calories you're burning per day when you're doing this kind of challenge. We were constantly starving.
Like, just hungry all the time.
I've never been that hungry
All
in
the
my life.
time. Yeah. It's like even on other hikes,
No,
you
never.
know?
Yeah, we've done multi-day hikes, and rain, long distances, but I've never been that hungry.
Shall we move on to food and tell you what we were eating? I'm even embarrassed. You're gonna like...
Well, we started off well.
We started off very well. So she baked muffins. If you listen to us on like the 702 show with Aubrey, self-promo plug. So anyway, she had baked like muffins.
A lot.
Lots.
450 muffins.
And like so long before. So we had like a lifetime supply of muffins. We thought, because we finished them in like 2-3 days as well.
Yeah, we were like...
Yeah, we went
Plowing.
through those muffins, and then also she cooked like a whole tub
enormous tub.
of like pasta, which was a delicious,
Chicken pesto pasta.
with like spinach in it as well. Oh, you guys are probably shocked because now everything from before is vegetarian. Yeah, 9 Peaks, nothing counts. It's like it was like, yeah, just
what you
eat
have to.
everything, even garage pies. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't even remember the last time I ate a pie from anywhere.
I think I was 20.
And there we were at a garage, just like buying
Right.
like and just eating like.
We were buying them in like multiples.
Exactly. And I felt so sad because I have chickens. And I was just like eating my pies. You know, the other day I was actually like cuddling my chicken, and I could feel his like thigh section, which is like the drumstick, and I was just like, I ate this 2 weeks ago. My poor chicken. Don't tell them. Shame. Yeah, but it is what it is.
Yeah, our diet went downhill. I mean, we had all the race bars and supplements and powders, and
In the beginning, we even started with cold pressed juices.
we did, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And it moved on to garage pies and bar ones and Powerades.
And the Energate was on special, like 2 for 20 rand. Like we had like,
Yeah, if you want to know what you buy to eat in a garage, like we can advise
we
you.
can tell you.
You know all the good things at an engine.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and we'd actually bought meals with to cook, but we were just racing. We actually didn't have time to set up the gas and, you know, have 30 minutes to an hour to actually cook food.
Yeah, because we had a lot of the food, like we had pasta, like actual pasta to
Sauces
cook and make like a nice dish for ourselves. But the effort to make that nice dish for ourselves
All the
and
time.
to like, the brain could not. It was just like
Yeah.
food now.
Yeah, you're just focusing on the getting through the next thing.
Yeah, we'd always end up at food. But yeah, food was, and chips and gummies and
Garbage.
like the things we ate.
Yeah, it's amazing how your body can actually survive with garbage and almost almost no sleep when you're in a challenge.
Yeah.
That's a surprising thing. You literally go into another mode where you don't feel pain. All the pain you do, you just push to the back of your mind. We were hardly eating. We really weren't eating enough.
Yeah, we
because
probably
you're
weren't
just
eating enough.
on the go, too busy, and you can go for days without sleeping and you just manage.
And a bar one will take you far, hey? Yo, bar ones. I'm
And a lot of
impressed.
bananas.
Yeah, that was actually the one thing. Like at garages where they sold fresh food, we bought bananas, and that was a blessing. That was really nice. Bar ones and bananas. That's what I've learned from this trip. I'm not doing the garage pies again because I feel like they only tasted good because we were hungry. I'm scared to try it again. Like, what if they? So yeah, I'll leave the pies for the next adventure. But also shame my chickens. I'll just be better prepared. Just get some vegetarian pies.
We'll have a personal chef next time.
And that's the other thing. There are no vegetarian pies. It's not like you're gonna get like a spinach and feta in the garage. They kind of just like
Peru,
there's nothing.
pepper steak, chicken.
And that's when we ate the most takeaway, like going through the Karoo, the second half of the trip.
What were we dreaming of? Like lamb chops with mashed
The
potato.
poor lambs! We're like on the mountain, like, oh, look at this cute little happy lambs. The lambs are so happy here. Well, they weren't really lambs, they were sheep. It's not lambing season. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah, we were getting so hungry, literally.
And then we're looking at them and like, you taste good.
Literally every animal we saw started becoming like Meals on Wheels. Eh?
Except for cows. Cows just became very scary. I never once thought of eating a cow. Did you?
Thought of cuddling a cow.
You got it for the warmth.
For the warmth.
They look warm.
They do. They're like just so big.
Yeah, but we never thought of eating the cow. And actually, I never ate beef on the thing.
But we did go, after 9 Peaks, we did go straight to a Karoo butcher and buy lamb chops.
Yeah, we did. We bought lamb chops and they're good. Yeah, bought the Karoo lamb chops. And also some kudu biltong. Yeah. Those are like the highlights of our food.
Yeah, life becomes so simple.
Oh gosh. And I hope this video like makes sense and I hope you like it. And actually, please add comments with questions so that we can revisit this with stuff you actually want to know. Maybe you don't care about food and how good lambs look. Yeah, so send some questions and then we'll revisit this. We're gonna just wrap up and do highlights and lowlights and basically an overall of our 9 Peaks experience. Evadnee, you go first.
I've got a very short memory for bad things, so all the bad things are forgotten. Besides being incredibly hungry, wishing I had more food, I can honestly say we just had a great time. I think it could have been, it was stressful and what could have been negative. We just made light of and we made fun of, and we literally just made the best of it.
Yeah. So for me, the lowlights weren't actually part of the actual 9 Peaks. Like, we spent a lot of time preparing and planning, and there was so much going on before 9 Peaks that while doing 9 Peaks, I was just like, all of that was complete nonsense. Like, all that planning, all that like scheduling to the T, all the
Zoom meetings.
Gosh,
millions of WhatsApp messages,
millions. Like, all of it was just nonsense, basically.
Because when you're on the spot, the mountains will decide, eh?
Yeah. So I would say like those wasted hours stressing over those things. That's the low light. Like 9 Peaks was
the actual 9 Peaks.
The actual 9 Peaks was like
it was a breeze
compared to the plan. If I had to choose which one to do again, the 6 months prior, like planning and organizing, or just the 9 Peaks, including Severweeks, I will choose the 9 Peaks. Like,
we were saying that we should have just got the idea and got in the car like the next week
and just gone and done it. Yeah, because really that was the most stressful part, the days leading up to the 9 Peaks. However, there were also good stuff in there too. Like, we had like awesome
huge learning curves, eh?
Yeah, so much to learn. Yeah,
we learned a lot of stuff.
And before I diss the whole prepping part, we got so fit. Like,
yes,
our bodies were like
machines.
took us up the mountain. It's like we weren't like the things that were tiring about Nine Peaks weren't necessarily that we were climbing all these mountains. You know, it's like it was only our feet that were hurt, I would say. Like just mainly our feet.
Yeah, your feet do take the distances we did, your feet do start to suffer.
Yeah, but our body, like, it's like our body, our body that we share. It was like, fitness-wise,
we were like, wow, that gym really helped.
The gym helped.
Hill repeats.
The Westcliff stairs, like, guys, I have a whole video on Westcliff stairs. Check that out. Like, that helped. Like, sometimes you'll be on the mountain where you're making these types of movements, and you're like, Westcliff stairs is working right here. And
we were physically well prepared, so that was good being prepared for.
Yeah, so that's worth the 6 months.
And the criteria we had to meet for Nine Peaks, we were totally on.
We were on
spot
point
on for
with
that,
everything.
Like our navigation, our routes, we were just,
There has never been a more planned Nine Peaks. Like, I was even like, guys,
that's a guarantee.
We have to hike every single peak before we actually do Nine Peaks. And, like, that's basically what we did. Yeah.
No surprises.
Yeah, there were no, except Mafadi. But, yeah, otherwise there were no surprises. Yeah. And your highlights?
Being with you, of course. I wouldn't have wanted to do it with anyone else, Anita.
Aww, that's such a nice highlight.
Well, that's it. Yeah, we just got along so well, harmoniously, summiting mountains and having a good time, singing in the car. Just getting through it all with humor.
Yeah, my highlight was also that I got to do it with myself. I really enjoyed being there. And not die.
Yes, in fact, on the second day of Nine Peaks, we literally almost
nearly died.
We nearly had a incident, and since then we just had this new lease on life, and we were like, even if we're suffering, we don't care, we're alive.
We're alive, yeah. Oh, so my actual highlight
was the garage pies.
Yeah, the garage pies. Actually, the bar ones, hey.
Every time I see a bar one, I think of you now. I don't think I'll ever see a bar one again. And then I'll instinctively want to break in half so we can share.
Aww. We shared a lot of bar ones, even though you can buy the one that comes with 2 in a pack.
Yeah, and I like the fact that there's some things Anita doesn't eat, so I get all these leftovers.
Oh.
All the flavors you don't eat and all the...
This is so funny. I wish I could like replay it as it is in my mind, like the memory. But we're in the car and I'm busy like Evadnee's doing something in just this weird way, and I'm like, really? Like, and then she's like, you don't eat half the packet of sweets. You don't eat any of the citrus flavors.
I was probably doing something unladylike or unhygienic.
And she's like throwing that at me like a diss, like you don't eat half the packet of sweets. I think, yeah, my highlight was also, like, it really was the company. We worked really, really well together, and yeah, that was good. And just the whole challenge, like the whole experience was...
At Underberg. I will never forget the sleep we had at Underberg.
Wow, really?
Do you remember that B&B we stayed in?
Oh, the cute one!
White fluffy bed.
Yes.
That we got into, we slept for 8 hours.
Yes, that was nice. That was nice. That was such a cute spot though. And they even had shortbread cookies for us. Oh. Which
I know the way to our hearts.
Down. The whole of Nine Peaks was just this experience that I would not trade for anything.
Oh, and what about all the people following us? I mean, that was quite overwhelming.
That was...
We were just blown away constantly by the messages and emails and comments we were getting of encouragement.
And you know,
we followed you.
It was just like...
Well, we were on Mafadi and people had stayed up like all night
tracking
us.
Oh my gosh!
It's crazy.
It is crazy. It's like, yeah, that was a big... And I think, you know, sometimes it's like, it'll be like the end of the day and now we've arrived at, you know, the delightful B&B and I have to like make this like post. I have to write about our day. I have to like put this thing together and like put it on the internet, and you'd be like a social media person, you know. And just knowing that you guys were like watching and following and waiting, like expecting, like you wanted the update, you know, it made it easier to do, and it made it feel, it was like, you know, we're in this together.
Yeah, and we were reading all the comments, like when we took turns driving, Anita would say, oh look, so and so just wrote this, and lovely,
and the tigers
encouragement. And Linda and her kids googling all the summits and following us.
Yeah. It was very special, and I think that's what made it more special, to be able to do it as like a team effort, a group. Like that was, I don't know how many people get to experience something like that, but that was like so special, so special.
So what's next, Anita? Life after 9 Peaks. It's quite strange getting back to life, because only you and I really know what we went through, and it's hard to kind of relate to people.
Even people be like, how do you feel? And it's like, what do you mean?
I guess our lives have changed. We're different people.
We are completely different people.
You have to dig so deep in that period that you're just not the same anymore.
Yeah, we went through so much. Like so much. And I mean, we have a very positive outlook on things, and even our bad experiences, we are like, oh, tra-la-la-la-la, you know, just like this joyful.
Which you criticize me for, you say my optimism is just ridiculous.
Look, I'm an optimistic person, but you're gonna get us killed. You know.
We're stumbling around Severvex in the dark, and I'd be like, oh, it's just around the corner, we're almost there. Gonna be fine.
And my, at that stage, optimism has like run out, and I'm just like, no.
But that was a good thing as well, because when you were up, I was down, and when I was down, you were up, and we were able to. One person was always had the energy to carry on if the other one was lagging a bit.
Yeah, which was very, very useful. Imagine the whole group being down.
Yes. This is an inappropriate comment, but I'm hungry again. Have you found coming back from 9 Peaks that you're still hungry all the time?
Did I not tell you, like I made a whole huge
I'm literally still hungry.
And I've been like eating like proper meals, like meals that you would eat for dinner like 3 times a day, like the works. Yeah, actually we really do have to go.
Yeah, it's time for a massage.
Yeah, in case you're wondering what we're looking at, it's just like the lake. It's like, so this is our view right now. And this is me and Evadnee. Cheese, hello. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and once again, send questions that you'd like us to answer. If there's lots of questions, we'll do a Q&A so that we can address things that you actually want to know, and not just us like rambling on. But I hope you did enjoy our ramble. I enjoyed it. This was a good chat. Yeah. Evadnee's like up and going.
Oh, I'm leaving already.
She's like, bye. Yeah, we have plans. Okay, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.
Click the like button.